Alright, if you believe that a government operation is behind all reports of the ET and UFO phenomenon, then the cat is basically out of the bag. The television is now explaining that it's all a super secret joint USA-German project whose purpose is not only to hide free energy, but keep all humankind dumb to the facts. So this is what they're reporting on the TV, this is what they want the general public to believe. According to a conspiracy theory, the government is admitting all UFOs are from them, but hoping that the public will think that they're lying to cover up the truth. Now, Von Braun had said this too, that the governments of the world would have to continue to invent their own threats, whether they would be terrorist threats or, communist threats to the United States, asteroid threats, and then an extraterrestrial threat, and all to motivate people to spend the money and time to develop the advanced technology. So he was a proponent of this theory. It's common throughout government. I believe that you could call that plausible deniability. And it's basically a simple way to explain a very complex subject. That when you ask one question, it sheds light on 100 other questions. And so it would create a chain effect of truth, and the government has spun a very intricate web of deception and disinformation concerning this. So it would have to open up a bunch of projects concerning all sorts of mind control that's been exposed, and all sorts of projects that are connected to UFOs and ETs, and the search for foreign intelligences. Foreign intelligences have manipulated and controlled humankind from the start. But if you want to believe that it's only the government, and that this is the secret of secret, that the government is secretly behind all reports of UFOs and aliens and the mind control, and they do this to control their populations, and then they're going to expose themselves on the television very, very easily, then more power to you. If you want to believe, that's fine. I put the information out there that supports the theory that you could trace this to the Nazis and back to Germany from their developments. It's good, it's good to expose the system, the conspiracy of the governments of the world and the militaries. You got to keep an eye on them. You can't let them run out of control. They definitely need to be exposed. So keep on exposing the military, the political, and basically the media people who need to be exposed, who sound like they're just rolling along with whoever has the money and whoever plans to destroy America here. They're destroying America. You have to be blind to see that America is under attack. Everything that made this country strong is under attack. Everything that built this country up is now in reverse. So it doesn't take a genius to figure that out, to see that your country is under attack. The invasion is happening and continue to happen, and it's time for us to take a stand. So I will admit, in today's world, due to a level of political correctness and general disinformation, it sounds sane to state that it's only the government behind the UFOs, and then expose the conspiracy on the military and the political level. But does it go higher than the secret programs involving the military and the technological applications? Well, yes, it absolutely does. This is exposed to all the religions of the world. All secret societies have the information about the foreign intelligences, and I'll continue to expose what I know about that subject. But what's interesting is you got members of the Disclosure Project, and the members of the Disclosure Project are members of the United States government, and they're asking for disclosure. So the government is asking the secret government for disclosure, and they are aware that there are projects that are created to mimic and to blur an extraterrestrial or a UFO attack. usually when someone is abducted or they have UFO or ET contact, they'll see the UFO outside. That's like close encounters of the first kind, and it goes up to the second kind, third kind, and fourth kind. But sometimes when people have had reports of the contact, it's not a good experience, that they have completely lost control. Um, so it is this that the government is trying to cover up, to hide the panic. They're telling you something extremely simple, when they're saying the reason they're not talking about ETs and aliens is so it will hide the panic. It will stop the panic. But the truth is that it's a little bit more complicated than that, which is when someone historically is involved with an extraterrestrial or an alien contact, they are literally put into a panic state. Their minds cannot cope with dealing with an extraterrestrial UFO mind, especially the way that they make contact. They make telepathic contact. Some people are taught to think before you speak. People don't even know how to think before they speak. Now imagine telling someone to think before they think. Imagine having a telepathic communication where they could read your every thought. That puts the normal person under a lot of pressure because they can't control their thoughts. To have someone think to know any thought that they're thinking puts them in a level of, I would say, telepathic, it's telepathic Tourette syndrome. They start thinking idiotic thoughts because it's the first thing that pops in their head, kind of like in the Ghostbusters movie when at the end of the movie they said whatever they think of first is ultimately going to destroy them. So they're like, don't think of anything. And how do you not think of anything? So he thought of the first thing that popped in his head, which was that Marshmallow Man. So basically, when you're having a telepathic communication, people don't realize this, but a lot of pressure is you got to keep your mind focused, you got to keep your mind clear, and a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people would feel very naked to have someone who could read their any thoughts, know every single secret to them, everything that they keep secret, every skeleton in the closet, everything in their mind is now open, and a lot of people go crazy with that. It's very stressful. So that's when they talk about they don't want to create a panic for the extraterrestrials and aliens. It has to do something with that. It's the panic that will be caused by trying to talk with something that could get into your head like that. And that's what's happened. Is these ETs have basically mentally raped people. They don't need to come across the way they do, but they come across and they'll scramble people's brains. So I'm going to show a clip of Clifford Stone. Now Clifford Stone, he, as strange as that man sounds, it's a very complicated and difficult thing to express. It's extremely complicated to express, but he is not. He is trying to explain an extremely complicated situation. But Clifford Stone, he sounds like, for the most part, that he had legitimate extraterrestrial telepathic communication. And because these things play mind games, and he was describing basically a mind game that they play. But it's all telepathic. These guys are all cerebral, and it's very stressful for many minds to enter into telepathic communication with these things that are toying with you, that have had eons to develop their telepathic communication levels, and so they toy with people, and people can't realize that. But for a long time, the Greys have been lying to people, and they are the trickster. They are the great manipulator. They are they like to play the victim. They will come across as they're the victim all the time, and they need to be saved, etc., etc. These are all games that they play. They're this. The real name for them is the synthetics. They should be called synthetic humans because that's what they are. They experimented with their own genetics, which put them in the situation that they are right now. They're having problems with their genetics. They decided to eliminate the female. They decided to eliminate the female out of their species and to clone themselves. test tube babies or some sort of apparatus, some womb apparatus. And so what you're seeing, I'll put in some illustrations here. What you're seeing, the normal report of the large head and the large eyes, that is an exterior suit that they wear, and inside they are a genetic oddity, and they are cloned for specific tasks. They have the drones that could go out and are involved with the abductions, and if craft is going to be crashed on purpose for the people to find, and the people are finding the small beings, they're going to find a synthetic human in there. They drop the synthetics. I don't know about them finding any tall grays. What they call as tall grays are the Bufath, and the Bufath are all the reports when you hear of long-nosed grays or these long-necked aliens in Star Wars, anything long or tall, these tall grays, there are the Bufath, and that's the origin of the reptilian theories. When people are talking about the reptilians, they're referring to the tall grays, and or vice versa, of course. But that should be called the Bufath, Buhfath, and I'll include some illustrations later of them. Obviously, they don't like their pictures taken. People are like, if UFOs or aliens are real, then why haven't we found any evidence about that? And that's, for lack of a better way to say it, that's like a bunch of gorillas in the rainforest saying, humans, you never saw one of those? Yeah, they don't exist. We would have caught one. If these guys could instantly roboticize or put someone into hypnotize people instantly, they abduct people, taking them through, they dematerialize, take people through walls, they bring people back to the point of origin of abduction with no memory of the situation, and you think that you're going to catch one? Have you heard the reports? Have you heard the government saying that these pilots that work in the government saying that these UFOs do things that are beyond explanation? The pilots are saying that when they witness the UFOs, the people who interface with the extraterrestrials, they're known to disappear through walls. They're known to play games. They like to play a lot of games with humanity. And the United States government has been warned about the Greys. And I bet the Greys probably toyed with the Nazis through the occult. That's how they usually want to make contact with people if they're going through some weird rituals, either religious or cult. What's a cult? A cult is a group before it becomes a large religion. They always say that before any big religion came about, it was a cult. People always want to just put those into separate categories. They're very much related. People have to stop looking at it's a religion versus a cult, etc., etc. I would say that the Catholic Church and the supposedly that they're arch nemesis there, the Freemasons, I would say that they're in a thesis versus antithesis relationship. They better be careful, otherwise they're going to be turned into a synthesis before whether they have any say in it or not, because they are being puppeted by the hidden hand. And that is the secret that they really don't want people to know about, which is that the human governments don't have all the power that they think they have. There is some technological advanced races out there, and very simply that they have, most of them have have evolved right on this planet over the billions of years that this planet has spent developing. There's been other civilizations, like this thing is millions, billions of years old. Do you think that our planet has gone through changes? Do you think any other race has managed to evolve and build an underground base? We're doing it. Why is it beyond everybody to think that another civilization, another group of humans that might not look exactly like humans, but they're beings,